Hello and welcome to the Triple Spill. We are back and I'm joined by my lovely co-host Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
And Philippa. Good evening, good day. Hello to
Hello.
you. We've had quite a big week, haven't we? Bit of a reveal for us. Quick
Yeah,
update, Philippa.
yeah. Well, we actually, although we recorded episode one a while ago, it's taken a bit of brain power to get it out onto the internet. So we finally launched it this week, and it's been incredible, hasn't it? Just the feedback that we have had, such lovely, lovely messages. Thank you very much to anybody that commented, and we really, really appreciate it. And if you are watching this, we would love a like, a comment, or even better, a subscribe.
Who knew that supermarkets and pajamas was going to be such a hot topic? Who knew that?
Exactly. Has it reached stateside yet, Rachel, is what I want to know. You're back in Washington now, so
Yeah,
what's the word on the street?
well, one of my American friends said all good stuff. So I mean, that was brilliant.
We
Camilla,
don't want
have you
pictures of
got
pigs.
have you got your PJs on underneath there? Because I know how you
I
like to
haven't
whip the
actually.
bra off when you get home from work.
It's all downhill from here.
But with gravity.
Too. Oh my God. Can't deal. We are going to talk about fashion today. I'm very casually dressed, but actually we're going to talk about fashion fails, aren't we? Looking back at our fabulous style history, digging some pictures out of the vault, hopefully, or retelling our favorites, naming and shaming ourselves, maybe. And also talking about actually what is fashion for us today and what's important. Is it less about fitting in and following trends, but actually more about finding your own style and be feeling a bit liberated into just not caring so much to fit in, feeling a bit braver about it. And I think we all have sort of a cultural different an experience. So let's jump in. Rachel, what do you think is sort of fashion in the US for people our age or generally that might be different?
Well, I mean, I think there's the renowned, spot the American tourist with the baseball cap and the, pants and the sneakers, etc. But actually,
When you say pants, can we just clarify for all the Brits out there?
yeah,
How detailed are we going with the
this
attire?
this could have a podcast all on its own, couldn't it? Really, but pants are actually trousers. So slacks, pants, jeans, whatever. It's always a little bit disconcerting, when you go to the doctor and they tell you to, pull your pants up. But there's lots of words like that in America that just, you start to go a bit cold. But but the other thing is that we don't think about is that a lot of Americans dress beautifully, and there's some really fantastic fashion here. They're not all just following the sort of traditional stereotype. So it's America's not as everyone thinks it always is from the UK, but there is certainly that goes on too. So there are a lot of baseball caps and there are a lot of jeans and a lot of sneakers, but there's also a lot of really nice, well-dressed people. But talking about fashion fails, I was thinking back to when I was, 16, 17, and I don't know about you guys, but pedal pushers, knickerbockers, frilly shirts, all these things we wore. I have no idea why we wore them, but we were so influenced then by the bands, weren't we? Music bands, the new romantic era.
Yeah, mine definitely was. You can almost track what music I listened to as I grew up, because when I first sort of like the first trend I suppose got into was I was really into ska music. So I would dress in not so much Fred Perry's, but Harrington jackets, proper two-tone stuff. But that didn't last very long. Then I became a bit of a soul girl, so a bit of a switch in music there. So then that went to the actually they're really trendy now, aren't they? Sort of like those baggy jeans, which you call barrel leg or boyfriend jeans or something.
Yeah,
And
jeans.
they used to have a stripe of piping down the side. I don't know if you had this
Yeah,
in
that's come
Sweden.
back now.
Do you remember that? And you
Down the
had
side.
soul belts, like a canvas soul belt, and you had to have all different colours, and then normally a stripy t-shirt. And all the boys had blonde wedgies.
Yes.
I can't remember what we looked like.
Was that the belt?
What's a blonde wedgie?
Wedges. Do you remember Martin Fry from ABC?
No.
You're too young, aren't you? But
No, I'm too Swedish.
sort of, well, that, but you know, a blonde flicky hair and then sort of like a chunky cut at the back, a wedge. You know what a wedge
Okay.
is for a haircut. But
Okay.
but so I went kind of through that. But then you used to sort of like used to go to the school disco, and there'd be me in my corner with the little soulies, and then there'd be the sort of like the new wave, new romantic ones with their frilly shirts on and things like that. But I think my biggest fashion fail, and I do have a photo, and if I can find it when I do the edit on the video, I will put a little snippet on there. Is I I still remember buying it from this shop. So it was a one piece, and it was like a faux suede, grey suede jumpsuit that had these massive what do you call those things you put on your shoulder pads. And then all this leopard skin that went on the top of it. Honestly, what a sight. And at the time, I used to back comb my hair. So my hair was out here somewhere with a really dodgy perm. And then when you took the belt off, it hung down. And I remember trying this on in some shop somewhere. And my friend was with me and she was wetting herself in the corner laughing at the state I looked at. And I bought it to go to the Ministry of Sound in London.
I
And I
remember,
loved it.
I remember at school, you know, everything was about fitting in, wasn't it? And I remember going up to Carnaby Street to get my collarless shirts. And we also would then, the skirts were A-line. And I'd get the skirt, I'd take it home. Everyone was doing it in my class. You go home, you get a sewing machine, and you just sew straight down. And the whole aim was that you couldn't actually walk at all. So the funny thing is, I look back, I didn't even remove the material that I'd sewed down. I didn't even remove the material in the skirt. So how that looks, I mean, what an absolute delight.
I used to make my own clothes. I used to go to, do you remember when rah-rah skirts were in fashion?
Yeah.
I used to go to my local fabric shop, and then I'd pick up half a meter of fabric. And I'd literally that afternoon whip up a rah-rah skirt, go out in it, and every week I had a different skirt on, and they were always these vivid, bright colours, probably just about covering my knickers. I can almost see my dad's face as I walked out the door, you know, just tutting. But it was all good fun. But I think you're right about fitting in, and sort of I think that has stayed with us. You know, you become part of, you find your tribe, don't you? And back then it was to do with music, but I think nowadays, even as fully grown adults, you still find your own tribe, don't you? Whether you're sort of outdoorsy casual, you're yummy mummy, you're boss bitch in the city, you know, you find your tribe that you feel comfortable in, really. But anyway, Camilla, you kept very quiet about your fashion fails, so let's have that one, shall we?
Do you know what? I look through a lot of old photos, and there are some epically bad ones, and definitely relate to the perm. I think the makeup, the way that I did my makeup was just like bright blue eyeshadow and this sort of very harsh sort of orange sort of strip sort of on the side. I mean, it was so awful. But and I think a short hair really did me no favors. But I had an epic fashion fail when I bought something off like a resale website. And I thought it looked fantastic. I put it on. Honestly, it looked like I'd escaped from the set of Miami Vice. It was hilarious. Either that or some sort of Wham video. It was sort of like a corn blue suit. And separately, it looked great, but it sort of had a high waist and it was sort of pleated. And I just could not pull it off. And it was a massively epic fashion fail. And I fell about laughing because I looked ridiculous. And I asked my daughter, who I ask for most fashion advice these days, and she said, Mom, you cannot go out and that needs to go.
Oh, so that's recent.
Yeah, that's recent.
That was
no, well, I have many recent ones. This isn't my first fashion fail, but I think in terms of a recent fashion fail, it was something I bought on Vinted, and it arrived home, and I was really excited to wear it, and I put it on, and it was just a complete no-go.
Well, I think that as you get older, the joy of getting older, there's lots of things that aren't so great, but one of the joys is the fact that you do feel more comfortable in your own skin. And so when you go to buy clothes I mean, this is certainly me, I'm not so bothered anymore about fashion. Obviously, I'm by what's in the shops, which means, and that's directed by the fashion industry. But I now, it's taken me this long, but I buy things that I really like and that I want to wear rather than what just fits in with what I should be wearing. So that I actually really quite like that being so liberating and not always having to worry about this trend thing. But I know people and they're still very, very bothered about fashion. It's just that for me, it isn't such a big deal. And, you know, I love clothes. I love buying clothes. I love wearing clothes. I like going out in nice clothes. But I don't really care whether they hit a fashion, you know.
No, I don't give two hoots about the fashion. I think you just become very comfortable in what you're comfortable with. And, and looking at that, I think actually I could probably be a little bit braver. I think what's interesting as well is that, you know, if we think about, you know, where we are in our life, very sort of similar ages, and a few generations ago, how people would have dressed. You know, it's so different. We've come such a long way, haven't we? And also the style of sort of ladies who are maybe slightly older than us, but, you know, really elegant and sort of in France and Spain, and obviously generalizing a lot, but it's just they're seen very differently. And I'm quite interested just in how women our age are perceived in different places.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
A lot of well-known people and celebrities and you know, stars, what have you, who are in a way sort of trailblazing for the next generation, because 50 is definitely not old anymore and you can get away with wearing what you want to wear. And sometimes I think that's amazing, and it is, because it's lovely that we're not seen as old anymore. Well, I suspect the younger generation think we're really old, but we're not thinking that
we're going to stick with our people though, aren't we?
Yeah, stick in our tribe. But I think also, you know, when I was young, I did not shop in the same shops as my mum. You know, my mum was a British Home Stores, Marks and Spencer's if she was feeling particularly posh. You know, she that's all she did. I mean, I love Marks and Spencer's, don't get me wrong, but I find now that I shop in the same shops as my daughters. So, and that just wouldn't have happened back then. So, because I think that the styles have changed and it's a lot more casual, but a quality garment, and I'm terrible. I just wear black and monochrome most of the time, and so do my girls. We're you know, things like Uniqlo, we're always in there. And when you walk around there, in fact, I was in there recently, it's all age groups in there. There's the youngsters in there, there's the older people, and a lot older than us are in there shopping. So I just think there's a bit more of a crossover. It's not so much that you know, that youngsters are wearing rah-rah skirts. We're all pretty much not wearing the same things, but, you know, when my girls go out, they're wearing a nice pair of jeans and a top and a nice jacket. Sorry?
Jeans and a nice top.
A sparkly top. But what are your sort of like your go-tos, your anchors nowadays? So, because I am terrible, as I said, I live in black tops, jeans, and a pair of trainers, and then I'm happy all day long in that. So, what are your anchors that you would go to now?
I mean, I wear dresses all the time. That is my, if you like, liberating factor, is that when I was young, I would try and follow and fit in. And wear everything that, you know, well, I mean, when I say younger, for some reason, I just take myself back to the 80s, which is a very, very long time ago. So clearly between the 80s and now, I have absolutely no recollection of what's happened.
Best decade, absolutely best decade.
Cocktails. But so now I know dresses work better on me. I like them. So that's my staple uniform, really. And, you know, all these people who are, if you like, looking younger and younger, and in the public eye, I sometimes wonder: is it good for us? Is it a good thing for us, or is it actually a pain? Because they're looking better and better, aren't they?
Which social media's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah,
all the influencers out there, you just think, oh my God, I need to be wearing these jeans. I need to be, you know, I can't be wearing flares anymore. I've got to go back to mum jeans or barrel jeans or this, that, and the other. And they've got to be
jeans, or,
you know, are they scuffing on
pants in Rachel's case?
And they've got to be scuffing on the floor or halfway up your ankles. I just can't keep up with where my jeans need to be. It's just
pull your pants up, for goodness sake. I think that it's twofold. One, on the one hand, it's brilliant because we maybe we feel a bit younger and we don't feel we're getting old so fast. But on the other hand, is it putting more pressure on us? Are we thinking, oh my goodness, this is a nightmare. I've got to conform. Whereas one of the joys we've already talked about is it's so wonderful getting older. You don't have to conform anymore. And yet we still are starting to go back into this conforming. Are we going to have to conform now until we're 70? I mean, when does it stop?
I don't think we really care. And I think, like, social media anyway, these people have stylists and they have help and it's all good lighting, and they have the fit, and like that it's not everyday people who are running around. I think that there's plenty of people who aren't super on trend, or lots of people who don't have time to think about it. And actually it's more about who you're with and how they make you feel. I feel that I value, rather than what they're arriving in. And I think for me it's all about
comfortable.
Yeah.
I have got a wardrobe full of boots that I have got. Do I wear any of them? No, never. Just because I'm just comfortable. You just fall back into this sort of uniform that you're used to wearing, aren't you? And just feel comfortable in it.
This is what I mean. So actually, should we be a little bit more adventurous? Should we all go to like a personal stylist and go, actually, let's shake it up a bit? Not because it's about conforming, but actually because we're stuck in a rut a bit. And actually, I think clothes can make you feel so good, can't they?
Although, read something brilliant this week, which was, you have a winter wardrobe, a summer wardrobe, and then you have a wardrobe when you're going to be able to fit into them again. and when you get to the wardrobe where you're going to fit into them again, I don't know about you, but I've had them for years and years.
I was just about to say, I finally dropped a dress size, but it's been so long. These clothes have been waiting in the wardrobe. They're just completely out of fashion now, and I'm not really that keen on them. So they're going to have to go anyway. So
you can make them fashionable. You can make them fashionable. I mean, one of the things about getting older is we find our own fashion, don't we? I think we have to, whatever we decide is our own fashion. I mean, obviously we are committed to what's being put in front of us, but we can. That's the amazing part of it, isn't it? We can just have it. So you need to now start wearing all this stuff and bringing a new fashion to the podcast, maybe. Maybe that's the next thing.
I was going to wear my glittery. I had a black glittery sort of blazer, and I was going to like full go in, but I didn't want to show you girls up, so I thought I'd come in a hoodie.
Well, I will pledge to try not to wear black next time. How about that?
Maybe next time we just have to wear something really bright and colourful.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I've got a bit of a quick fire thing for you girls, so I'm going to spring this on you a little bit. So I want you to give me your one regret from back in the day and the one thing, in fact, your wardrobe that you absolutely love now. So who wants to go first? Should I go first? Give you some thinking time.
Yeah.
So my big regret, and I have got photos of it, is the shell suit. Do you remember the shell suit?
Yeah, I remember.
I went to Australia backpacking.
I can't believe you're admitting that.
I know. I went backpacking to Australia and I wore my shell suit. And so all my photos of arriving in Sydney with all the harbour bridge behind me, I'm in this freaking shell suit. So that is my one big regret. And my one love is my Adidas trainers. Just honestly, I could, if I could wear them to a ball, I would wear them under my dress. I just love them so much. But yeah, they're my two. So who wants to go? Camilla, you ready? What have you got?
I'm ready. I went to a ball in Sweden when I was about 19, and I'm trying to find this photo because I did my hair as if the curlers were still in, but there were no curlers. They were just sort of rolled up, but like really hard. And I had a burgundy sort of satin ball gown, cocktail dress with ruffles at the bottom and sort of like a little side hem, but it's sort of angled down. The cut was horrific, and it was just sort of very blunt shoulders, and it is so awful that is the photo I'm thinking of that I need to dig out. I in one sense I hope I don't find it because I'll probably be traumatized, but it was an amazing ball at this beautiful castle, but what I'm wearing is truly horrific. But that's part of growing up, isn't it? You know, isn't it part of the charm of looking back at this and laughing and thinking, actually, I thought I looked pretty good. That was me dressed up then. That's me making an effort.
But also everyone else was probably wearing the same kind of thing. So
yeah.
don't we? And think it was bad. At the time, we thought we looked quite good, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought we were rocking it.
Exactly. So I was trying to think back to, I mean, as I say, fashion, I don't think I've ever been massively crazy about fashion since I was younger, when I did want to just buy whatever everyone else was wearing. But I have this memory of like, for some reason, I used to wear a bow tie a lot with a and a tank top, a bow tie, and a rah-rah skirt.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, and also a beret. I don't know.
A beret?
Beret.
Pants and beret.
A French beret. I don't know whether I was actually wearing them all at the same time or whether they're just things that I remember. But you know, the bow tie's best with a DJ, isn't it? The beret's best when you're in France. Tank tops, funny enough, they're coming back. I just saw some today.
They are, yeah.
Maybe I have seen a lot of the things that I laugh at. They're back in the shops.
Yeah.
We saw it first. We started it.
It is worth hanging on to these pieces, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And what I really love in my wardrobe now is I have some cowboy boots that I got in Nashville after far too many vodka and sodas. And I thought, I don't think I'll wear them very often. I absolutely love them. So is that fashionable? I don't know. I think actually they've come in a bit more. I think they are quite fashionable now. But that's my...
I think the general advice here, isn't it, to just wear what you like, what makes you happy, what's comfortable, and what makes you you. Like, don't be so conformed, but just do you. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us. I think we're going to wrap it up here. And if you've got some fashion fails or stories you want to share, then give us a comment or send us some evidence. And we look forward to hearing your feedback. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you, co-hosts.
Pleasure. And don't forget, follow us on Instagram. We're not really on Facebook at the moment, but follow us on Instagram, and we are on Spotify and YouTube. So a like, a comment, and a subscribe would be amazing.
Am I going down or I'm putting this up, aren't I? What I did, I put loads of books on my thing for my iPad. So I'm just...
Please will use this in an outtake. That's absolutely hilarious.